that is true. Very true. But so it's not just we're speaking and say, oh, this is this and that. Oh, we've had it happen. We know. Dark shadows, it's the corner of the eye thing. You think you saw something. You kind of know you saw something, but you're not really sure. But you keep seeing it, and on moments that you're not even expecting it. And yeah, it gets a little freaky after a while. You want to know, hey, what's going on here? I mean, nobody wants to have that feeling of being watched or something going on. My first word of advice is try not to give it any attention of any kind. Try not to recognize it. Don't try to call it out. Don't say, who are you? Because you're just giving it what it wants to do, getting your attention.
And often, too, I mean, they're going to tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes they feed off fear, and they're going to do something just to scare the heck out of you, or they're going to lie to you so that you give it more attention, and then you talk about it to people, and next thing you know, it's going to snowball into something really bad. That happens a lot. Someone's like, oh, it's my Aunt so-and-so, she died, or oh, there's a little girl that died in this house in the 1800s, and it's like, you don't know that. Just because someone died in that house doesn't mean it's haunted by that person.
No, a lot of people die every day. So.
Yeah, so you got to be real careful with what you think, and like I said, you have to look for the signs and put it all together. You can't just keep grasping at straws or picking one thing and saying it's something else. It all comes together. Now, when Scott and I met, I was doing a lot of dark stuff that I shouldn't have been, and I lived in this house that I thought was extremely haunted. And the house may have been haunted, but the people that lived there before me and the people who lived there after me, they didn't have any problems. But when I moved in...
Heidi was the problem.
Well, I don't like to say it that way. But
Twisted Sister.
But did you know that one of the band members of Twisted Sister died today?
Get out.
Yeah, so that's sad.
What?
Yeah, not the main guy, not Dee Snider, but one of the other guys.
That's good. Life wouldn't be the same without D-Man.
Just a little FYI there, a little input. Okay, sorry.
We're all knowing information network.
About the 80s. We're always going to throw in 80s probably in our podcast. We love the 80s. Okay, so when I was practicing this stuff, all these dark things started happening. When I met Scott, I told him about it, and he didn't really necessarily... I don't know, did you even believe in the paranormal? No.
Well, a little. I mean, I had a little bit of experience with something, so I knew that it existed, but to the extent that she was talking about, no, I didn't believe it.
Yeah, there were like these little, Scott calls them supersonic flights, these little black things that would fly around, and
yeah, and I seen them all the time over at her apartment, and it was like a big black bumblebee going super duper fast, and it always catch you out of the corner of your eye, and sometimes not even the corner of your eye, it would zip right in front of you so quick that you knew it wasn't an actual bug because it was way too quick.
Oh yeah,
and it was like,
it was bad.
What was that? And Heidi would be just smiling.
Because I got used to it.
I got used to it.
I know it sounds crazy. People
are
like,
my friends.
No, I never said that. So did not say that. But people say, why don't you just move? It's like, well, if you're not in a financial situation to move, and it had ghosts and spirits and stuff had been a part of my life all my life. So when it just sort of crescendoed there, I got used to it.
That apartment was nuts.
Yeah, and you know what? If you go to HeidiKLinden.com, in my book, I talk about it. So if you want to go there and check out my book, I have a whole chapter. Yes, subliminal messages. But like now, Scott would Scott would stay over and he would experience stuff. But I had most of my friends and most of my young son's friends wouldn't even come over anymore. And so they would.
I wonder why.
They were experiencing stuff there too, and and these things were bangs on the door. And
oh yeah, bangs on the door. I almost peed myself one night.
It was scary. But
I mean, here I was, at the time in my mid-30s, and needed to go to the bathroom, and I'm scared of the dark at her apartment because there was so much freaky stuff going on that I had to stretch my arm out into the hallway from the bedroom to turn lights on just to go to the bathroom because I was scared to death. It took years to get past all that.
Yeah, but to this day, I don't think I could get past that. Like, if it happened now, I'd probably still freak out. But
well, yeah, I think it would. It's not something you get totally used to.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody gets used to someone coming around the corner and scaring them. Nobody gets used to that.
Right.
I mean, you learn to deal with it. You may not get as upset as you were about it, but you still. it still freaks you out.
And you know what? You saying that makes me think of a good point, is that I think a lot of ghost hunters or paranormal investigators, they overestimate themselves and they become not scared. And that's not a good thing.
Where have we come in society where we believe that, you know, our little lifespan of 60, 70, 80 years somehow supersedes that of an entity that's been around 6,000, 7,000 years? Where do we get that belief? Just because we have a little piece of equipment to identify an electrical charge or an EVP or this or that, where do we come off thinking that? You know, you play with fire, eventually you're going to get burned.
Well, there's a ladder, you know, a chain of command, and we're last on that list. So when people think that they can, you know, do certain things to get rid of spirits or they have power over them, that is a huge mistake. And when you're not scared of ghosts, I think that goes against you, because if you're scared, you're going to be on guard, you know. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Even Rocky said,
You know, it's good to always have a little bit of fear, you know?
And he was a smart man. He got like 5 movies or something.
Yeah, 6.
6.
Going on 7.
And if you count Rambo,
Well, I didn't want to go down that road.
Rambo was
I
pretty
think you're
tough.
going too far.
No, really?
Yeah.
He had the gun and the
You need to stick to the program.
the gun and the bandana.
The program.
All right. He was cool, Rambo. He didn't talk much, but he was cool. Like Ghost. See what I'm saying? See how I tie it back in to the paranormal?
Oh, you're good.
Sylvester Stallone, Ghost.
You're good.
His mom's like a crazy psychic lady, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See your eyebrows? Totally. Should we go to an email? Let's go to an email. Let's go to an email.
And where's this one from, Heidi?
This is from Becky from Washington.
Becky, how you doing?
W.A. That would be Washington.
Or Wawa.
It could be Wawa. Becky from Wawa. She says, love your new podcast. Maybe you can help. I'm 17 and I've seen dark shadows since I was little. Now my little sister who is 7 is seeing the same thing. I don't think our house is haunted because this happens when we go up north too. What can we do because we don't want to see that? Too scary.
All right. First of all, you guys are, we'll explain it, but you guys are magnets. And we're going to explain what we mean by that.
Go ahead, explain it.
No, I want you to do it.
They're spiritually sensitive to when, you know, you've got things where usually a person is haunted versus a house. If people say, oh, every house I've lived in is haunted, well, it's you. It's not the house. It's not a coincidence. I was one of those people. It took me forever to figure that out.
You know, I got a way of kind of explaining it, I think, I hope. It's kind of like you have somebody out there and they're yelling out into a crowd. And nobody's paying attention. And they finally find somebody that seems to hear them. It's like, oh, that person over there hears me. Guess where all the attention's going to go? All the attention's going to go from that person trying to communicate with the one person that seems to be listening. Because it's the only person that wants to listen. Well, here's the spiritual world. They want to be heard. Now, this could be a ghost or whatever. I don't know. We're not going to go there. But they want to find somebody that listens. They recognize that certain sensitivities, certain attributes of that person or their history or their or whatever makes them sensitive to knowing that you hear or see or feel me, and they're just always there looking for attention.
Yeah, and it's not a good thing because that's where a spiritual being that is around you, it sucks up your energy. That's why people, they have these muscle pains and joint pains because the energy, it like dehydrates them, honestly. And they get sore and they get headaches, and that's all dehydration type. You know, and they have nightmares and night terrors. And now with her little, what'd she say, her sister is 7. It seems she's 17, so
7 seems to be a little young, but
it could happen.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We've actually had a lot of cases where young children, even younger than 7, have experienced stuff because they're open to it. They don't mean to be open to it, but they just are. Right.
Well, we had one case where a lady, it was her daughter. I want to say 8, but I don't remember, in New Berlin, and her daughter thought she was playing with a little boy ghost or a little girl ghost, and so
it was Freddy Krueger.
No, it was so not Freddy Krueger.
Oh, okay, it wasn't Freddy.
God, he freaks me out. I don't want to talk about him. So she would sit in her closet in her bedroom and talk to this ghost, and her mom had said that it used to happen to her, but she shut it off. she stopped it, and she wanted it to stop for her daughter. So, however she did that, if she really did, I don't know. But then it obviously went on to her daughter. And it seems to be hereditary. It really is, because I know it runs in my family. And you can always find out if your aunts or your mom or your uncles or your dad, or just it runs in the family, spiritual sensitivity. So that's probably why both girls here.
Yeah. But I think their question is, what can they do about it?
Well, the one thing that always works is asking God. You pray and ask God if you want it to stop.
It's always going to be the same answer.
Yeah, really is.
You know, if you're having a spiritual problem, you have to go to the spiritual master.
Yeah, exactly. The one who made those, all spiritual
the
beings.
Power. And some people say, well, I'm not religious, or we're not asking you to be religious. We're asking you to have a relationship with someone who's going to help you and continue your life and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because it only gets worse. It's not going to stop, and if it does stop,